What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the new setup. I have switched to the other side of the wall, so those posters right there are actually behind me now, so that's pretty awesome. If you want to see the video in which I put those posters up, it's a little bit choppy, just to warn you, but it is available right above my head. So now that that's out of the way, welcome to the Design Lounge. Today we're going to go all the way back to 1994. If you're a 90s kid like me and you were around in the mid-90s, you remember the Adventures of Pete and Pete. So this was a great television show that came on Nickelodeon. And there was an episode called A Hard Day's Pete, where little Pete is actually trying to figure out what his favorite song is. He doesn't know his favorite song, but he hears this garage band playing a song, and then he's like, oh, I love that song, but then he never gets to hear that song again. So I always thought that was a really cool episode. You know, like, I'm a huge music fan myself, and plus I love the Adventures of Pete and Pete. So I came across Polaroid's rebranding, and I thought it was really cool. And you know, the band that's actually in the episode and really it's in the show itself is called Polaris, and it has a very strikingly similar name to Polaroid, and just the graphical aspects and everything, I just think that it fits. So I'm just kind of inspired by that. So I'm going to make a concert poster based on what Little Pete actually saw, treating it as if it were an actual concert. And so I'm just going to make a concert poster out of that. So there's kind of the history behind it. I know it was a little bit long-winded, but hey, that's my specialty. So before we get started, please remember to hit like and subscribe, and also click the bell for notifications to be notified of all new content. Now, let's make a poster. All right, so here I am in Adobe Illustrator, and there are so many different ways that you could make some kind of a poster out of something that looks like the Polaroid logo. But I'm really just gonna kind of see how this all comes together organically. I don't really have a plan for this, so let's just go ahead and start with the font, which I believe is Helvetica Bold. But let's just go in here and we can just kind of line this up and just kind of verify that it is the font. I'm pretty sure it is. So this right here, I chose Polaroid because one, I was kind of inspired by this rebranding. This looks like this is correct, or at least close enough. So we're gonna just kind of get some optical kerning going on here. Then I'm also gonna bring in the tracking just a little bit, just to make it a little bit more thin like that. So, and I think we actually have this as bold when it should be more like, it's kind of like in between regular and bold. So what we'll do is we'll just put a stroke on it, and let's maybe do something like that. Let's make sure that the stroke and the fill are both the same color. There we go. So it's just kind of, just kind of thickening up a little bit. It doesn't necessarily have to match exactly. As you can see, that A is actually different from this A right here, but that's not really a big deal. So all we're gonna do is we're just gonna take those three letters off and just replace it with IS, and we're definitely gonna have to readjust this because that R and that I were definitely way too close together. So let's bring this to about right here, and I'm just going to go in and manually adjust this kerning. So yeah, so Polaroid itself has a very retro feel to it, no matter what the iteration of the logo. And also, it's such a similar word to Polaroid, or I'm sorry, to Polaris in general, which is the name of the band from the Adventures of Pete and Pete. All right, so I'm happy with this. So I'm going to go ahead and expand this. And the reason I had to expand it rather than just creating outlines is because I've got a fill and a stroke on that. So I'm going to hit expand again, and we're going to expand both the fill and the stroke. Now that we're down to just having a fill color and we have no stroke color, I'm going to go over to the Pathfinder and hit the Unite button right here. So now it's one shape. And let's go ahead and center it, and let's push it up here. And I think I'm going to bring it down probably 2 inches to give plenty of margin there. And let's expand this. And since we want 2 inches on all sides, we have to bring it in by 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4, holding down the shift key as you do that. Okay, so as it stands right now, this looks like it might be a little large, but we can always adjust that a little bit later. So what I want to do is I want to mimic what's going on in here. So like, these are called all kinds of different things, but I typically just call them showers. So it's like, you know, it's like a shower of colors coming out. So we're just going to mimic that exact same thing going on here. And for the most part, it's pretty simple. So what you want to do is you want to just kind of start your shape right here. And I'm just going to color match this. So we've got blue, green, yellow, orange, red, and pink. And so that's, how many colors is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, and right here we have, this will be a little bit challenging. We have 7 letters here. But not a big deal. We can just make 2 of them the same color. All right. So what we're gonna do here, you know, like I said, it's not too complicated. So I'm just gonna move this anchor point down here, and then what we'll do is we'll add an anchor point to about right here. It doesn't have to be exactly right there. We'll just kind of bring it right there, so that way it stays behind that letter. And from this point, I'm going to grab these 2 anchor points just by themselves and adjust them. And it looks like we're going to have to adjust the kerning of these letters based on where these showers of color are actually falling. So not a big deal. And what I'll do here, since we have the P and the O also have the same color, I think I'll probably just do that for this as well. Okay, so we'll do the same thing here. Some of these are going to require some, you know, a little bit more involved in adjustments, not injustments, adjustments than others. So, but really all it's doing is just adding anchor points. You know, that one right there. Let's see, let's put this one about right here, about the midpoint, and then just move this over here. So it's not too bad, not at all. Just kind of grabbing those anchor points and just moving them where they need to be in order to have them be revealed just behind the letters themselves. Okay, so let's push this over maybe about 1/4 of an inch. I don't want the you know, the kerning between those two to be too much. And it looks like, now that I look at this, it looks like this is actually not, okay, so it's actually doing like a curvature type of thing. That's interesting. Okay, so that, all we have to do there is add an anchor point about right there, and then we'll just convert that to like a curve. And then we'll just kind of bring it over a little bit. And then we want to make sure that this is in line with where that curve starts. And let's see exactly how they're doing it. So it straightens out pretty early. It actually straightens out near the top. And then we just move this over here. Let's grab the x-axis point, and we're just gonna paste that right here. Okay, and then this right here needs to be, need to curve it a little bit more. I wish we could. Wait, here we go. There's our handle. Our handle is right there. Okay, looking good. Sorry, I'm not talking too much. I'm just trying to concentrate. That way, it just kind of helps to contour a little bit so we can bring it a little bit closer to here. And I'm sure they did this a different way. This is just how I'm thinking to do it right now. But if I needed to spend a little bit more time on this, then I would certainly figure out a good way to do it. But for now, this works just fine. Okay, so let's go to the next letter right here. So as you'll notice, these color showers are actually the same width as the letters themselves. So we're just gonna kind of maintain that same consistency. All right, and let's see, this goes all the way behind the the A itself, but as you can see here, that A, the top part of this right here is all the way over, or at least very, very close to the bottom part of the A. So the shower is actually coming from the top part of the A. So we'll do that. And is it going all the way over to the, okay, it's kind of going all the way over to that side, but this is a different shape for the A. So I'm just going to bring it up to here. And I think that I'm going to maybe limit it to there. Okay, and then what we'll do is we'll just add our anchor points. And you want to add them a little bit further in so that you can bring that outer edge down to about right here. Okay, so let's grab these two bottom ones and go here. And this one I believe is going to be yellow. Okay, it's already looking really cool. Okay, and for some, oh yeah, bring that up to the front. I was like, the baseline is not matching up there. That's weird. Okay, so we'll do kind of the same thing that we did with the P for this lowercase r. And I'm just going to move this to about right here or so. And let's grab, I'm going to lock these, the I and the S, and just grab these anchor points. Oh, wait, I need to lock that R too. There we go. And we're just going to bring these anchor points over. And then I'll move this one up to about right there. Actually, maybe a little bit higher. Yeah, there we go. Well, maybe not. Because we need to... All right, I know what we're going to do. So add an anchor point here and just bring this up here. Perfect. All right. And then we can actually move this anchor point a little bit higher. Actually does look pretty cool like that. Although it should follow that contour. And we'll just grab this anchor point and put it in the same spot. Actually, it looks like we're going to visually bring it over just a little bit. There we go. Sometimes you got to do things visually or optically instead of mathematically. So, all right, so we'll bring this to about right here. And let's change that color. I'm gonna change it to orange. And then, let's see, we'll do the same thing. We'll just kind of grab this because that looks like those are the same width, or they're very close to the same width, so we'll just make them the same width. Okay, send it to the back. And this is actually going all the way up to the dot, which is pretty cool. Okay, so we'll make that red, and then we'll make the S pink. Okay, we'll just grab this over here, and then we'll just adjust it however we need to adjust it. And we will move this, oh, just that anchor point, Illustrator. There we go. And how exactly are they doing it? Okay, that's just on it. That's on a D, obviously, so we're just gonna have to figure it out, which is fine. Fine with me. I like challenges. All right, bring this to about right there. I think that looks good. And we're gonna move this anchor point here, and then we'll grab the location of that one and then just do the same thing here. Okay, because we have smart guides on, sometimes you can, I mean, you could do it that way if you wanted to. You know, you could just kind of grab the anchor point and move it until you see the purple. But I don't know, for some reason, I've always liked just grabbing that anchor point and getting it, you know, like giving it the exact same mathematical number, so that I know that it definitely is exactly the same. Okay, so now let's get our width, and let's also make sure that we are perfectly aligned to our document. We're good. Okay, and 1, 2, 3, 4, so it's 14 inches now. So let's grab the bottom parts of this, and you know, see, this right here, we can just kind of play around with this if we want to. However, we do need to put some text on here, obviously. So let me see here. Let's do something like this. And I'd like to match that black right there. So we can do maybe something like this. And let's go the full width so that actually bleeds off the edge there. And then we'll move it down here. And then we'll move it up by 2 inches, I believe. What we could do also is perhaps do that and just kind of see what that looks like. Although I do like this right here. So, and you know, it would be really cool since we have a white background here, and it also kind of ties into the whole like 90s kid, you know, like this like old school type of thing. What if when we're finished with this, we put like a notebook, you know, like a notebook poster effect on top of it, or like a texture? I think that would be pretty cool. All right, so let's I'm gonna pause real quick. I actually have written down somewhere the info that's going on this. I believe that I left it in my bedroom, so I'm gonna pause and go get that. All right, I'm back, and don't have too much content to put right here in this space, so we may be able to shorten that a little bit more. So it's just going to say live at the Wellsville garage, and let's see, January 16th, which is the date that the episode aired, 1994. And then I'm just going to say something like doors open at 7 p.m. Why not? Most, I would say, like, well, actually, doors open usually at 6 p.m., so we'll just say 6 p.m. Okay, so it's going to bold this up real quick. And for something like this, I'm just going to go ahead and trust Illustrator's optical alignment for the text. And let's do this. Where were we at? Was it 14 inches, I believe? I think that's right. Yeah, so 2 inches on each side. And then we'll just kind of bring it down. I actually kind of like the idea of the black being exactly 2 inches down from the bottom as far as the alignment goes. So we will do that. I'm going to bring the baseline to align with this. And then we'll go up 2 inches, I think. Or maybe just 1 inch. I think 1 inch will be just fine. And then we'll do the same thing here. We'll grab this. And it's looking cool, actually. Like, it really does tie in with, you know, yeah, so 2.25 is fine. We'll just add an inch on top of that. So it really does tie in with, you know, the look of like Polaroid advertisements, you know, just kind of in general. So let's go ahead and change this from 100% black to about 15%, and then we'll do the same thing here with this with the type, so that whatever effects we put on top of this will actually show in those colors. And then when we go into Photoshop, my background color will not be a pure white, so that way those effects can show up. Okay, so this right here looks we're not bleeding off the edge right here in Illustrator, so I'm going to go ahead and copy this, and I'm going to move over to Photoshop. All right, so I'm here in Photoshop, and I've got it copied onto my clipboard, so I'm going to go ahead and paste it as a smart object, and we can just align it straight to the bottom there. And while I was cut there in the background, I went ahead and pulled up this wrinkled notebook paper texture that I want to drop on top of this. Okay, so what we need to do is we need to bring this to the front, and I'm going to go ahead and adjust the sizing of this, and I think I may be able to have a little bit of playroom with the sizing and still have it look good. Okay, so let's add a solid color background of, I want it to look a little bit aged, so maybe like around there, but you know, I like to go the nice round number of 10, so we'll do that. And the way that this is right here, you can actually see the background right here. So I'm going to grab this color and go back into Illustrator. Actually, I'm going to double click on the smart object. click on this and give this the same color. That way they both match each other, and those effects will show through that text as well, not just everywhere else, and not that one. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is, well, I don't think I'm going to desaturate. Let's just kind of see what happens here as we throw this texture on top of this. That is super, super awesome. I love multiply on this one, and I think that it works really well. I'm just going to go through the rest of them and see what we can do. But multiply and linear burn both look like they legit were printed directly onto a sheet of notebook paper, so that's really cool. That may actually be what we end up doing, and I think I might. That's interesting. Okay, so difference is looking really cool. And I think that actually, well, I don't know. Not too big a fan of what's going on in this area right here. I just pointed at my screen as if you were sitting right next to me. So, but I think that multiply and linear burn, and I think linear burn, I like that one best. All right, so we're gonna do that. We're gonna stick with linear burn, and we do have a little bit of that yellowing coming from this color fill background, but I think I'm gonna add another one on top, and we'll just kind of do something that, just kind of brings it in a little bit more. Multiply is gonna help to really, really darken it and to make it look like it's older. And it may be a little bit too heavy, so what I'm gonna do is go in and just kind of maybe just back off the opacity by about 50%. I think that would be a good thing to do there. And since I don't want this to be super duper clean on this paper, because we want it to actually look like the paper has taken on that texture, we're just going to add a Gaussian blur to it. So doing something as simple as this really does make a big difference. And for something like this, let's take a look at the text down here. Maybe a 3. I think 3 is going to look good for that. And for here, it just, it really does look like it was printed directly onto a sheet of notebook paper. So, yeah, I'm very happy with this. Here is our Polaris concert poster from The Adventures of Pete and Pete. If you were a 90s fan, or a 90s kid and a 90s fan, like myself, then something like this, as soon as you saw Polaris, that's exactly what would make you think of this. And then seeing the Wellsville right here, this is for all the super geeks out there. Wellsville, Pete and Pete. Yes, awesome. But here it is, and I'm pretty happy with it. Let me know what you think of this down in the comments below. All right, well, even if you're not a fan of The Adventures of Pete and Pete or don't know what it is, I think you can still appreciate the, like the design aspect of it. So just let me know what you think of it in the comments. Thanks a lot for watching along today as I made that poster. It was really fun. And please remember to hit like and subscribe at the bottom, and also click the bell for notifications to be notified of all new content. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.